Roll the Ball is a slide puzzle game that requires you to use physics and engineering to win. Well, you at least have to do some planning that takes a good amount of strategy. This is a brain-exercising game that requires you to be actively focused and plan ahead. So if you're in for a challenge, then this is for you. The goal of the game is to get the ball from the start to the goal. You do that by configuring the tiles so the ball can move through a continuous tube. The blue and red tiles cannot be moved. They have screws that connect them to the wall. All of the wood tiles can be moved. That includes the ones with tubes and without. Remember, it's not always necessary to use every tube tile, so get creative with your moves. Once you start solving the puzzles, the tile volume increases. There are different features and bonus games that earn you hints that you can later use if you get into a jam. You can also earn them by watching videos. The only complaint I have is the ads. Unless you pay, they pop up every third game. Our current favorite puzzle game on Android is Cut the Rope 2, in which you feed candy to a little green critter known as Om Nom. How do you do this? By cutting rope, of course. This free-to-play title features painterly graphics and fiendishly clever puzzles. Don't be fooled by the cutesy visuals. Cut the Rope 2 gets seriously tough by the time you reach the later levels, but because success is only ever a few snips away, this one never gets old. Plants vs. Zombies is one of the classic free-to-play tower defense games, and its sequel might be the shining star of the genre. Plants vs. Zombies 2 sees you employing the services of assorted shrubbery to defeat an approaching zombie army. PopCap delivers a colorful, addictive, well-balanced strategy game with near-endless replay value. It's continuously inventive and each stage has its own set of unique traits, which means that progressing through them always throws up new challenges. As far as free-to-play games go, Plants vs. Zombies 2 is pretty generous in terms of the unlocked content that is freely available, and it's also a hell of a good time. Defense Grid 2 HD is a more realistic tower defense game, with a modern military theme. In comparison to its cutesy competition, it certainly has more grit, but it also has excellent gameplay. There is a lot of tactical depth to the game, which may make it difficult to get into if you've never played a tower defense game before. However, I suspect that genre veterans will relish the challenge it presents. Defense Zone 2 HD costs $2.99 for the full version, but there is a light version available if you want to check that first. It's definitely one of the best tower defense games on Android. Castle Defense is another free-to-play title. Set in a fantasy realm, it's one of the older tower defense titles and there's nothing exactly revolutionary to be found here. But Castle Defense nails the basics of the genre and acts as an excellent starting point for those who are new to this type of game. The enemies walk along a fixed path which you must line with towers to prevent them reaching the end. The graphics and audio are just okay, but with more than 100 levels, 3 difficulty settings and an exciting upgrade system, Castle Defense will still keep you coming back for more. Essentially a vertical scrolling shooter with RPG elements, Dragon Heroes, Shoot RPG lends some welcome depth to an inherently simplistic genre. By progressing through the levels, you can unlock a variety of heroes and upgrade their skills in a bid to save Dragonia from a spate of dragons, who are also the bosses on each level. The shooting gameplay is simple, colorful and kinetic, and there are seemingly endless buttons to press in the menus, lending it a nice arcade vibe. The only gripe is the absurd loading time the game requires, particularly when starting up. It's quickly forgotten once you're blasting merrily away at dragons, but it can be frustrating when you want to dive in for a quick game and you have to wait several minutes to get onto a level. The game features several different modes, PvP battles and guilds, so there's plenty to get your teeth stuck into. The Walking Dead provides the basis for another Android game, as well as more evidence that franchises thrive as well as zombies on the post-apocalyptic Earth. The Walking Dead: Road to Survival is probably the richest Walking Dead Android experience yet. It functions mostly as a base-building game, and Woodbury is the setting in which you construct the usual workshops, training grounds and farms to get humanity back up on its feet. Outside the base, there are missions and raids. The former finds you exploring the surroundings through stealth turn-based combat, and the latter lets you face off against opponents online, fighting for reputation and supplies. The story mode lets you make decisions at key moments, and will prove particularly enjoyable for fans of the comic books. Overall, the game is pretty involving to start out with, and its dynamics function well, but its pay-to-win nature becomes apparent after a few hours of gameplay. There have been complaints about the random chance of characters and equipment you acquire, and the cost of doing so. We would advise you to enjoy the game as far as possible for free, and try to avoid dropping any, or at least too much, money into it. Marvel Future Fight is a very attractive and immediately engaging addition to the Marvel gaming universe. You start out with Black Widow, Captain America and Iron Man, who are sent on a quest to gather a band of heroes capable of saving the world from a future, transdimensional threat. There is a choice of control styles, one touch or pad, and you scurry around brief levels, hammering away at surprised villains until you reach a boss. Once you've unlocked more characters, you can swap them in and out of your trio and switch between them at any time throughout a level. When things heat up, and the levels start taking multiple attempts to pass, you may find your finger hovering over the in-app purchases, but there's enough here to keep you entertained for quite some time before you get to that point. Speedy Ninja's name says it all. You play as an agile ninja running speedily across the screen, battling through opponents with the aid of swords, fireballs and more. What makes Speedy Ninja such a great endless runner is that the action takes place above and below a burning fuse that you run across, so you have to pay close attention to what is happening in both directions to make the best decisions and collect the most coins, the in-game currency of choice. When you have enough coins you can buy additional weapons and characters. Speedy Ninja is not the most inventive endless runner, but it covers the basics well. It has flashy graphics with good effects, tight controls and challenging levels. Oh, and a dragon to ride. Combining Spider-Man with an endless runner seems like a match made in heaven. Spider-Man swings through the streets of New York, climbs skyscrapers and fights exciting battles against Doc Ock, the Green Goblin and a whole host of other baddies from the Spider-Man universe in another, polished title from Gameloft. The look and feel of the game borrow heavily from the comics, with excellent cel-shaded graphics that work perfectly with the 3D level design. You shouldn't expect an epic plot, but even non-Spider-Man fans will enjoy this one. If you like Mirror's Edge, you should be right at home with Vector. It's probably the closest thing on Android to DICE's 2008 masterpiece. It features a silhouetted protagonist with a flair for parkour, on the run in a totalitarian city. The animations are superb, and the characters' movements look completely human. There are fewer collectible items than in many other endless runners. The focus more on survival, rather than trophy hunting. Jumping from rooftop to rooftop never felt so good. The name says it all. Stack is a block stacking game that requires good timing and nerves of steel. While it's action-packed, it has a simplicity that's refreshing. That's because the blocks and background colors change during the game and from one round to the next. Timing is key in Stack. You need to build a tower with blocks that slide in from the left and right side of the screen. If you are just a tiny bit off, you will lose part of the block. As you lose more and more, it becomes more difficult to time, and soon enough you miss entirely and your game is over. If you continually get perfect timed stacks, your base will increase in size and it will become easier. As you play more, you unlock gems. These gems go towards new block styles you can use. There are plenty of different choices you can make, like retro, zigzag, brick and platinum. You can also watch a video to get more gems. Implosion Never Lose Hope is a highly polished mobile game in terms of both graphics and gameplay. It's a third-person action title that sees you slicing and digging your way through hordes of enemies in the style of God of War or Devil May Cry. You play as an armor-covered warrior equipped with a sword and a gun, dishing out damage to mutants across a variety of short and sweet locations. This game absolutely nails the controls and feel, working whether you want to button mash, or build up combos with some more rhythmical strikes. The graphics are as good as you'll find on the platform, and the boss battles are often epic. You can play through the first few missions for free, but after that you'll be required to buy it for $9.99, which I think is entirely worth it.